Hey there, I'm Emgris, I'm from Russia, and I'm in Georgia. And it's the middle of January, the 15th January, and yesterday it was spring, now it's winter again. But here is our Lamborghini, our Maserati, our convertible, whatever you call it. We've rented Toyota Prius, and it's the first time that I will be driving Prius. It was really funny how they rented it to us because they took a photo of our driving license and took money without a deposit, and just that. There was no contract, we signed nothing. So that's our car for the day. It's pretty tired, I would say, but it does the job done. So yeah, welcome to our trip of today. We have arrived at the Chronicles of Georgia. This is the sculpture and architecture complex by the author Zurab Tsereteli, dedicated to the 3000th anniversary of Georgian statehood and 2000th anniversary of Christianity dissemination. And it's pretty spectacular. Let's go up and see it from the closer distance. Look at this amazing view of the city. Probably you can't see everything, but believe me, the mountains, the city, amazing. And here are the Chronicles of Georgia. So what I've been told is that over there you can see some like moments from Georgian life. At this level you can see important figures for Georgia and Christianity, I believe, and the bottom layer is some biblical stories. And just see how huge they are in comparison with just people. Do you remember the story about this cross? So it's the cross made out of branches with hair. So the woman that actually was I believe she took Christianity here, and she was tying this cross with her hair because she had nothing else, basically. It's pretty cold here. It's -2, but feels like colder. And it has lots of ice, so I'm trying not to fall down. And here is an amazing view to this is called Tbilisi Reservoir. This is kind of the lake that is called by locals Tbilisi's sea, because it's pretty big. So this is called Jvary. This used to be a monastery. Right now it's just a church, and this monastery was mentioned in the poem novel Mtskheta that you probably have never heard of, but it's also very beautiful. It's also very wintry. Look at this amazing view. This is the place where Aragvi and Kura, two rivers, meet. We're not sure which one is which, but okay. He's pretty sure. Which one is which? This one?
The straight one is Kura, and the perpendicular one is Aragvi.
Okay, I hope you heard that. Here is the carpet. That's a different place, another church. That here King Miriam and Queen Nana, first Christian king and queen, Their marriage is the declaration of Christianity as a state religion in Georgia in 326. Here, they are. These are their tombstones. We're in Georgia and we're in the place named Gori. That's the town in Georgia. And it would be not really anything spectacular, anything unusual, but do you recognize this guy? That is Joseph Stalin. And this is the place where he was born, and there is the museum to him. And so you can't find any monuments to Stalin in Russia right now, and in many other countries they're getting taken down. But here in Gori, this monument was actually on one of the main squares, but they put it later into the premises of the museum dedicated to Stalin. Here he was born, here his parents were living, and let's have a look at the museum. Probably we'll see the house where he was born in also. So we bought tickets to the museum, and here the same man, and we also got an excursion. So let's see what we will find out. So we entered the museum, and due to the old Soviet tradition, you can't film in the museum. And it happens all over the post-USSR countries, and I have no idea why. I have no idea what secrets they're keeping, because you can find photos of every exhibit in the internet, and everything is, you can take a photo, but you can't film. That's weird, but you didn't miss anything, because there were a lot of photos of Joseph Stalin, there were a lot of letters, a lot of documents, and a lot of things associated with him. And there was a big hall dedicated to the gifts that were given by different people, different countries to Stalin, and that's interesting to see one time, but nothing too spectacular. There was also furniture from his first office in the Kremlin, and it was made due to the style of those times, so also nothing too exciting. There was an interesting thing. There was the hall that represented mausoleum, and maybe you know that when Stalin died, he was first not buried. He was put near Lenin in the mausoleum on the Red Square in Moscow, but then he was eventually buried, and now there is just Lenin here, just Lenin there in the mausoleum. And the hall in this museum was resembling mausoleum. There was the post-mortem mask, like face mask of Stalin, and it was just like an interesting place. But in general, the whole museum was okay, and the excursion was also okay. Probably without the excursion we would miss a lot of things, but mostly we knew the history, the story of Joseph Stalin, about his how he became Stalin, basically, because actually that's his not real surname. His actual real surname is Dzhugashvili, because he is Georgian, and obviously he was born in Georgia, as I've told you, in Gori. And so yeah, the story of this man and how he became the one who was Stalin. Let's put it like this. So that's the house where actually Stalin's parents lived in, and this is the door to their apartment, to their flat. And here downstairs his father actually worked, because he was a shoe repairer, and I will tell you a bit later about that because the excursion is going on.
So yeah, I didn't have an opportunity to talk about that being there. That's really the house where Stalin was born and where he spent his first years of his childhood. And this was actually not just the house placed in the middle of the museum, obviously. It was the whole street of houses like that. But when there was the whole culture of loving Stalin, they decided just to remove everything around it, to preserve the house, the building, and built a museum next to it. And so that was the park on the premises of which you can find this house. And due to the fact that we were there with the guide, we had an opportunity to go inside. And we didn't break anything, like I think James made it. If you have watched Grand Tour, not the Top Gear, but now it's Grand Tour with Clarkson, May and Hammond, you might have seen some of those places already, but we were careful. It is a really tiny place. You will see it in a minute. It's a really tiny flat apartment, probably flat. It doesn't seem like an apartment that Stalin with his parents was living in, and it was quite an interesting experience to visit this place where this man actually was from. So yeah, have a look.
This is the armored train, the armored wagon that belonged to Stalin, and it is armored because he went to a conference by this train and some travels as well. Later he was flying by plane. That weighs 80 tons because it used to have even armored glass. Right now it's replaced with an ordinary glass. And I will show you a small footage about what's going inside. We had an excursion, so we had an opportunity to get inside that thing, and that is quite interesting.
Они должны же быть, договор. Ну да. Ну, когда у тебя 80. Туалет.
That's the kitchen.
Кухонька.
Кухня.
А что сейчас-то таких не делают?
Делают, просто ты таких не ездишь.
Правда.
Ванная комната.
Был спланирован. Скорее всего, красный. Здесь, наверное, пробуй люкс.
These are all the like apartments for people that were traveling with him. And that is Stalin's personal, I think, personal or not, I will tell you a bit later.
И говорят, что он любил сидеть вот именно на этом кресле.
My friends made me climb up the fortress, and I can't see that there is much to see here, but still the mountains are nice. Let me show you the fortress, and it's a golden hour almost. There is not much things to see, not many things to see, sorry.
Откуда он вышел с договором о том, что ФБР не берет деньги ни у кого из американских инвестиционных фондов, а берет намерение для... Нельзя. Слава Богу. Нормально?
We found the monument to the protectors of this fortress. It looks quite epic. Nice people and nice streets of Gori. I really like this tiny district here because the rest is just like nothing spectacular, nothing in particular nice. But here, and we climbed up that fortress.
When we were traveling back to Tbilisi from Gori, we just needed to have a stop at the Tbilisi Lake, Tbilisi Reservoir, or as they call it here, Tbilisi Sea. It is really big. So yeah, it was really nice and the sunset was really beautiful. So yeah, that was our trip from the churches of Mtskheta, really beautiful places, to Gori, the place where Stalin was born. You probably noticed that I didn't do any judgments about this man, because some people think he was great, some people think that he was the worst. You can leave your comments down below what you think about this man. But I was really curious about the fact that he was from those places and about where he was from. So it was really interesting to see the whole day through churches and the place where he was born, because he was mostly against religion and churches, as some would say also. But it was an eventful day, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well. So have you got any comments about my trip, about life in Georgia, about anything else? Leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification button, and I'm a little bit sick, probably you can hear that. But nevertheless, see ya!